Hello, I'm Chris Williams, and I'm back with another review. This time we're going to review NamWolf. I first heard about this comic from the YouTuber Just Some Guy, and I can't thank him enough for telling me about this comic book. It is really good. This comic is about a guy who transforms into a werewolf during the Vietnam War. The artwork is cartoonish, but it has a nice horror edge to it that makes it really good to read and, well, admire the visuals. It's not going to be anything like from Jim Lee or Alex Ross, but the artwork is good. The cover here shows you how it is. You can see the guy is kind of cartoonish, and the wolf line is equally just a bit cartoonish, but it's also rather scary looking and terrifying. This is written by Fabian Rangel Jr. and drawn by Logan Fairbear. I'll just call him Fairbear. Alright, Logan here, his art is pretty good, and Fabian's writing is pretty damn good too. The first page, unfortunately, is yet another page like Marvel, where it's just a bunch of words and no real first page. The actual first page starts out with a flag, and you see the Marty talking to his father, and his father gives him a letter, and he tells his son to only open that letter when the time comes, and that when the time comes, he'd know about it. And he sees his son off, and he pities anyone who's going to actually come and meet his son, or anyone who's going to fight him in the war. He pities them more than that. Marty is next seen in in Vietnam. He's flying down in a copter, while his commanding officer flags it down with his hands. Marty is a bit nervous because he's never been to war, and he's only an 18-year-old. He just got out of high school, and he's a bit nervous about what's going to happen and if he's going to die or not. If he had any idea what was going to actually happen to him, he probably wouldn't be worrying as much as he is now. That might have been part of his father's plan. He probably thought that this was the only way that he could probably transform to a werewolf. If he was nervous, it would be easier for him to do so. And we come to meet his squad mates, and he says to himself, he writes it down, and apparently, or he thinks it to himself, these are the best men he's ever met: Sergeant Ben McHenry, Doc, Killer Joe. He'll become more important as we read further into the series, I've heard. Burnout, and Radio Jones, and Geronimo. As the comic says, Geronimo is actually a Mexican. He's not actually an Apache. While Burnout is a hippie to the core, and apparently somehow still in the middle of this war. Alright, Sergeant Ben McHenry has the biggest piece of this comic and stuff. He talks the most, and he has the most characterization. He asks Marty his name. He says his new best friend is his machine gun. And he says, "Give her a pretty name, but don't get your Johnson caught in the chamber, Greenhorn. Now come on, we have people to kill." Marty looks visibly nervous because he knows he's going to have to kill someone now. He's in the army and is marching off to war. And later on, it's night. Geronimo and the others are sitting down around a fire. Geronimo is combing his hair while I think the Sarge is getting out of smoke. Alright, I guess Doc is getting out the smoke. That wasn't very colored right. Killer Joe is eyeballing Marty. He thinks he's a weak little punk ass. Marty just feels sick for some odd reason. I don't know, could it be the full moon? That's when Burnout, lighting up some weed, suddenly gets his head blown off with a big pack, kapow to the head. There's brains and gore everywhere, and all the sergeant can do is take cover. Damn it! Geronimo steps behind a log, right next to Radio Jones. Killer Joe looks a bit nervous as he ducks for cover himself. At least I assume he's ducking for cover. He's just kind of standing around. Marty just looks up at the sky. His eyes go black, and he starts screaming in pain as chaos breaks loose around him. His squadmates are firing into the bush. The sergeant calls orders to his men, but unfortunately Marty is then surrounded. The Viet Cong think he's screaming because he's worried he's going to be tortured, and they drag him off. But too late for them. The transformation has begun. The moon works its magic on him. Marty's eyes turn red. He howls as a burst of lightning bursts behind him. His hands shake, and then his clothes start tearing. His teeth start sharpening and lengthening, and his eyes glow a fiery red. And then it's all hell's. The monster is loose. It grabs its gun. It gets ready to pounce. And all the Viet Cong can do is cry in red tears down their cheeks. The NamWolf has risen! The NamWolf was born, the comic says. But he just rises up while Callahan watches Marty as he jumps over him. And the other men with looks of shock and horror on their faces can just gasp in terror. The NamWolf quickly releases a tat-tat-tat from his machine gun. The Viet Cong go down, and everything is now bloody. He rips off a man's arm with someone's leg he just severed. Some guy is split into twain pieces. And all Radio Jones can say is, Sarge, and the Sarge just says, Well, there's nothing really to say that as they watch a werewolf machine gun down the enemy. The artwork here is good, and I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing here. Killer Joe, he looks at Marty with hate in his eyes. With such hate, in fact, it causes his eyes to flash a gold color. I don't know. Could that be foreshadowing for something or other? Well, we'll just have to keep reading further issues of NamWolf to find out. He says, "Die, monster!" Marty looks shocked as he feels the pain in his back. He isn't quite sure what is going on. Marty knows is he's in a blind rage. He turns behind. He gets ready to kill whoever shot him, but he hesitates. On some level, Marty knows these are his squad mates. He's angry and he's in pain, and his body pushes the bullets out of them, and you can see them with quite good visual art here as his body expels those bullets. Anyway, the hesitation is over. He gets ready to kill Killer Joe, but that's before the other squad mates end up rescuing Killer Joe. The Sarge ends up pushing him out of the way as Marty swings and tears a tree in half. But then Killer Joe retaliates by punching him in the face. Well, it's something you don't see every day. A guy punching a werewolf in the face, okay? Maybe he's just a human, or maybe he's not. Marty gets ready to tear them apart. His mind nearly completely gone in a blood-soaked rage. All he wants to do is kill them. But their shocked and horrified expressions shock Marty back to some sense of sanity. He sees them, and they see him as a monster. All Marty can do is look down at his claws and the blood around him, and then he escapes. He starts jumping into the trees and away. Soon after, Marty calms down. He finds a place to go to sleep, and then he ends up having dreams. Dreams that happened to him when he was younger, apparently. Apparently, he has been transforming into a werewolf for years, and has been eating cows on farms. You can see him rip apart this cow, bathing in its blood. But soon his father finds him. And we learn that his father is a werewolf too. His dream tells him that. "It's all right, son. It's just me." In the morning, Marty is found by his squad mates, and they wake him up with a gun to his head. Marty looks kind of scared here. I imagine that he would be scared. He has no idea really what's going on. The Sarge says, "Morning, Spencer," while Killer Joe, with some sweat on his face, and Geronimo point his gun at him, with Doc just behind. Marty has been thrown in prison soon after. He asks Sarge why he's there. The Sarge doesn't really clarify on what happens and tells him and he's going to stay there for the foreseeable future. Later on, we find one of the Viet Cong has survived, and he's gone back to see his father. His father, apparently, is a witch doctor. He gives his son something to drink when he finds out that his son has seen a monster, that the Americans are using a monster to kill them. So he transforms his son into a monster, and now he says to him, we're going to teach the Americans what war is really like. And the man becomes some sort of lizard creature. And we'll learn all about this creature and about the rest of what happens to Marty in future issues of NamWolf. This comic was good. It was a very good story, very well written, and it is a great indie comic book. If you like this video, leave a like, subscribe, and leave some comments down below. I'll see you all again soon. Bye.